Hello, everyone. This is Matt Clark, market analyst for moneyandmarkets.com. Certainly glad you're joining me for this week ahead, Money and Markets week ahead, what to watch on Wall Street. This is where we take a look at what are some of the things coming up in the future next week, or this coming week, rather, depending on when you're watching the video on Wall Street. Some things that investors will pay attention to, some things maybe you should pay attention to. And it's kind of all encompassing. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel if you want to be alerted to when this video comes out. Just hit the subscribe button down at the bottom whenever you're on our YouTube page, and also get alerted too, because that way you'll get the videos actually before we release them to the public on moneyandmarkets.com if you do it that way. So you kind of become a bit of an insider. So and you'll also get notifications for the Bull and the Bear podcast, which we do twice a week, and our marijuana market update, which we do every week. Plus whatever else we throw out there, and we're planning on a bunch of other things as well. So let's get right to this week. Coming up next week. Really, it's kind of a light week, as it were. Two of the largest deep discount retailers, however, are going to highlight earnings this week. Dollar General Corp, they trade on the New York Stock Exchange on the ticker symbol DG, and Dollar Tree Incorporated, they trade on the Nasdaq under DLTR. They will both report their quarterly earnings on Thursday before the market opens. Both companies did see some sales growth in their respective previous quarters in the midst of the coronavirus pandemic. Lockdowns, nationwide layoffs and furloughs, all that. People are really searching for deeper discounts when they shop for various goods and things like that. And Dollar General, Dollar Tree both provide that. In its first quarter, Dollar General reported net sales increases of about 27.6% and an increase in operating profit of 69.2% to $866.8 million. On top of that, its earnings per share jumped 73% to $2.56 a share. Dollar Tree reported an 8.2% increase in its net sales in the first quarter of 2020 compared to 2019. Its gross profit jumped 3.9% to $1.79 billion in the quarter. However, the company did report a 1.2% drop in its gross margin, a lot of that due to markdowns and then higher distribution center costs of trying to get goods from distribution centers to stores. Consensus estimates for Dollar Tree are right around 91 cents a share. Consensus estimates for Dollar General are in that $2.40 avenue. So it'd be interesting to see just what kind of furthering impact the coronavirus and all the subsequent things surrounding the pandemic will have on companies like Dollar General and Dollar Tree. Again, they report on Thursday of this week. Coming up, we've got not a whole lot, relatively quiet on the IPO front as well, but there's one IPO that will come out of its quiet period on Monday. GoHealth Inc., they trade on the Nasdaq under GOCO. It is a marketplace for Medicare plans like Medicare Advantage, Medigap, and Medicare Part D. These are all programs that are typically administered through private health insurance companies. They will come out of their quiet period again on Monday. The company unveiled its IPO last month at a price of $21 a share. The stock has dipped to between $17 and $18 a share as of this past week. In terms of an IPO, just to make sure you're aware, a quiet period refers to that mandated time frame where company insiders like company managers or marketing firms, things like that, cannot share any opinions or additional information about the company. They can share financials and things like that, but any additional things that can be construed as insider information. It's kind of meant to put companies on a level playing field. Under the Securities and Exchange Commission guidelines, the quiet period for an IPO lasts from the time the IPO registration statement is made available to 40 days after the stock starts trading, and that will hit on Monday. Outside analysts have given their thoughts on the company, but the company itself is forbidden from doing anything like that. GOCO has a market cap of close to $6 billion and recently reported quarterly revenue of $127.1 million. That's a 71% increase over the same time period a year ago. The data dump coming up this week, aside from weekly jobless claims, which will be out on Thursday, investors will be looking towards Monday's announcement from the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago. The Chicago Fed will present its National Activity Index for July on Monday morning. It's a monthly index aimed at kind of painting an overall economic activity picture, as well as factoring in other inflationary type pressures that could weigh on the economy. It's a weighted average of about 85 different monthly indicators. Those indicators range from real disposable personal income to many different industrial production metrics. And they pretty much crunch all these together, and they come out with a number. Thanks to better employment figures and an improvement in production and manufacturing, the index increased to positive 4.11 in June, up from plus 3.5 in May. The 3-month moving average for the index, however, is still in the negative. It jumped from minus 6.36 in May to minus 3.49 in June, and a lot of that is because of the massive drop-off it had in March and April. So it's still kind of trying to recover from that in terms of its moving average. Investors will look for a third straight month of economic growth, as they've been banking on that kind of rapid recovery to the economy to push the stock market to new highs, as we saw last week with the S&P, the Nasdaq continually hitting new highs. Other things in terms of data, on Tuesday, information on consumer confidence and new home sales will highlight the data dump, and we'll see July figures on personal income, consumer spending, and core inflation for July on Friday. Numerous earnings reports, nothing too terribly out of the ordinary. Palo Alto Networks will be on Monday. Best Buy and Hewlett Packard Enterprises, as well as Hormel and J.M. Smucker, will be on Tuesday. Wednesday, Dick's Sporting Goods and NetApp Inc. Thursday, Dell Technologies, Dollar General, Dollar Tree, as we've talked about already, Marvell Technology Group, and then on Friday, Hibbett Sports will be presenting their earnings for the previous quarter. So that is kind of a comprehensive look of what you can expect to see next week on Wall Street, what investors will be looking for. If you do have a comment or maybe a question or anything like that, make sure you email us, feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. That's feedback@moneyandmarkets.com. And also make sure that you are subscribing to our YouTube channel. You can do that by hitting the red subscribe button down at the bottom. And be alerted. Click the little, I think there's a little bell. There's a little bell icon that shows up. If you hit that, you get alerted every time we put out a new video. We put out new videos every week. We've got the Bull and the Bear podcast. We've got our marijuana market update, plus these week ahead videos and much, much more. So make sure you get alerted. If you are a podcast listener, I encourage you to check out the Bull and the Bear podcast. You can check that out on various podcast syndicators like Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify. We're getting onto Amazon here soon, so you'll be able to use your Alexa connected speakers and devices to listen to the Bull and the Bear. But do that, and same thing applies. Make sure you follow us and get alerted every time the podcast comes out. Those elements usually come out before we put it up on moneyandmarkets.com. So if you're subscribing and you're being alerted, then you'll know ahead of time before anyone else does. So it's kind of like an insider type thing. So that's about all I have for this week. For this week ahead, Money Markets Week Ahead, what to watch on Wall Street. We've got a lot more coming up. Make sure you check out moneymarkets.com each and every day, where we provide safe and profitable investing information for you so that you can make the best decisions on what to do with your investments now and in the future. So until then, I am Money and Markets Research Analyst Matt Clark and host of the Bull and the Bear podcast. Safe trading, everyone.